0 absent.
Motion carries. Thank you. We'll now have, if you guys want to use this door, or unless you want to stay, that would be fine too. But there's 3 seats. There'll be 3 chairs open in the front if anyone wants to shuffle. We'll now go on to our fiscal year 25 budget update. While this is under recommendations for action, it's just an update on the process, so we're not taking any action on this item. Dr. Brenner will provide an update on the process, and then we will move into public comment.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, thanks to everybody who's here tonight, adults and students alike. I certainly appreciate it. Well, I will do the best I can to speak up. I'll lean into this microphone. Just wanted to thank all of you for being here this evening, and it's good to see students advocating on behalf of themselves as well, so thank you. Before Business Manager Brandon Baumbach begins his overview of where the recommended budget realignment recommendations were made in terms of percent per group, it's worth noting, clarifying some misinformation being portrayed around the recommendations. But first, last Thursday, I invited anyone positionally or through program refinement to meet with Assistant Superintendent Mac Bakke, Associate Superintendent Catherine Glatcher, me, to have a conversation. I'm pleased to report that a couple of groups have done that, so thank you for reaching out. We'll meet with you very soon. So with respect, I want to provide some comments and the clarifications on all the information swirling around the community. This is not an undertaking anyone wants to lead or to be a part of. However, it's a pragmatic part of leadership and education or any other organization who has to address the bottom line. First, the 15% general fund goal by 2026 has been a 2-year goal established by the school board and a driver behind administration's work. Our auditors have expressed a desire to see the ending fund balance brought back into a comfortable year-end balance. As illustrated to all staff who were able to attend the district-wide staff meeting virtually last Thursday, our school district, presently at approximately 9.78% fund balance, is far below Fargo, West Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot. The reason for our fund balance dipping below the recommended 15% was a combination of several factors. The 2015 loss of the additional 10 mills in our building fund, although as Mr. Baumbach pointed out, voters approved the additional 10 mills in 2021. Thus, in 6 to 7 years, there was a loss of approximately $15 in building fund revenue alone. Without those resources, the district relied on the general fund, our checkbook, to pay for catastrophic boiler failures in several schools, along with replacing 2 aging relocatables at Viking Elementary School. Further, the state's funding formula change reduced local property tax revenue and capped mills, which was another revenue stream change and subsequent loss to our budget. Anyone believing we are padding the budget does not understand the reality and the complexities of our budget. Again, 15% is recommended by our auditors, and actually the auditor who was at our finance committee meeting last week said 15 to 25%, and so we're shooting for the low end. And we want to make sure that we have room for negotiations with all of our employee groups, as next year will be a negotiating year again. As far as the recommendations, German will be phased out over the next 3 years, which means all freshmen who took German this year will be able to take German 2, 3, and 4 through their high school years. It's not being cut at the end of this year. It's being phased out over the course of time. World language at the middle level will be reshaped and integrated into other courses so that world culture is understood. So there's not an elimination, but rather an alternative way to deliver this content. I've been questioned that I don't, or upper administration doesn't, value music education, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm a wannabe musician. I've played in a band. My son plays violin in orchestra, plays piano, and is in jazz band at the middle school level. He loves his teachers, and so do we as parents. The recommendations are around refining music education delivery, not cutting music education. I want to repeat that. We are not cutting music education. We have a model that allows for music teachers to serve a portion of their day providing one-on-one lessons with students. That's an expensive model. It's the conservatory model. It's been supported by the school district for quite some time. We are advocating that rather than one-to-one lessons, instructors work with groups of students for skill development. Again, it's our perspective that this is refining the delivery of music, not cutting it. It's been suggested that music education is taking the largest reduction. That's not quite true. Elementary schools across the district are going to see a 7 to 10 full-time equivalency reduction given enrollment trends. In other words, reducing teachers by 7 to 10 across all of our elementary schools. I would advocate that music teachers sit in a room with district leadership, and that meeting will come up soon because we already received a communication for that. And again, I want to thank you to the music educators so that we can further that conversation. What's been lost in the conversation is that anyone whose position has been affected will have an opportunity to work in another capacity. For library media specialists, paraprofessionals, that may be another paraprofessional role. And I can fully appreciate that may not be what they want. They have their positions through the end of this school year. Nobody lost their job last week. Many of our teachers are multi-certified and are qualified to teach in other content areas. While that may not be their true desire or their passion, they will still be gainfully employed and be paid where they're placed on the salary schedule. Attrition, that is staff retirements and resignations, will continue between now and this summer. We'll do everything in our decision-making power to align skill set with position availability. Is it perfect? Far from it. Does the timing work for everyone? I doubt it. Finally, there's been a tremendous commitment by the school board and me to elevate compensation for all colleagues in a manner that will attract and retain people. For the 10 years prior to my superintendency, salaries received minimal growth, which put the district further behind large and small school districts in the region and across the state. Last spring and summer, school board negotiators went deep into the general fund to address those salary gaps. It was stated then and throughout this year that balancing the other side of the ledger was necessary. Respectfully, we can't increase salaries by approximately 13% over 2 years and expect the budget to balance itself. Every area of the school district has been affected by reductions, as Mr. Bombach will illustrate shortly. It's worth noting up front that while all levels, elementary, middle school, high school, athletics, and special education had goals, some exceeded and some closely met those goals. At the end of the administrative work between all levels in the Mark Sanford Education Center, we're at approximately 97% of the overall goal of reducing expenditures by 5% through this process. There will be more moving parts between now and June 30th, and that will allow us to reach 100% of our goal. The 2024-25 preliminary budget will go before the school board in August, with the final budget for approval in October 2024. So for tonight, the school board, you're not here to approve the budget or any decisions, but it's an update for you, and certainly bears repeating that people are here to speak. So with that said, I will turn it over to Mr. Bombach for a higher level of those percents.